Welcome. Maté talk time. I do believe this is going to be a long Maté talk, so get yourself a nice drink, buckle up, because I wanted to do 10 fragrances, and I thought, that's going to be crazy, so it's 7. And even then, I've got other on the fringe that want to be part of the lineup here. Before I begin, check it. Look what I'm repping. Boom. I'm a Harvard graduate, as if. Teachers, years ago when I did when I was a kid, about 14 years old, a teacher said to my dad, your son is so dumb, didn't say it like this, but this is what it was. Your son is so dumb, he could probably be a milk bar assistant if he's lucky. So graduating from Harvard was never in my destiny. But, so how do I get this? So one of the people who join us on our tours, he joined us last year, him and his beautiful wife. He's actually a Harvard business professor. Boom. KARIM and Shaheen are the couple. Anyway, KARIM is all things about AI. So I'm gonna promote his book, Competing in the Age of AI, a new book that KARIM has written. He is he's at the pointy edge when it comes to embracing AI as a business concept. He's actually the Harvard business professor. Forget about it. So anyway, he sent Kevin and I, have a look at these 2 photos. So this was me. I'm like, and I love this one, Kevin. So thank you, KARIM. Shaheen, thank you guys. You guys are very generous. I will be reading this book. I promise I'm going to read and understand, so that way I can make sure that I'm up to speed with all things AI. So, and I'm repping this jumper, even though it's 100 degrees today. It's quite warm, but I'm going to wear it for, see how long it lasts. Announcements, really quickly. At the end of the video, I will be talking about the SORA DORA Discovery Series and what does that mean. Then hotels, the 9-day luxury tour that's coming up. I've had a few questions in regards to the hotels. I will go into that. And then finally, we will have, I don't know yet, we don't have it yet, but we will have a winner for the LAMAR. So that's coming up. Now, Melbourne, as I mentioned, it's really hot today. It's really warm. Melbourne, we've had a visitation. This is why I never would go to Harvard. We've had a resurgence, there it is, of heat. The weekend, I felt like we were in summer again. And so this inspired me, because literally, I went looking for my summer fragrances. And then I thought, you know what? The Northern Hemisphere is about to go into a summer. So let me give you some summer fragrances. And these are the ones that I wore over the weekend. I've been wearing over the last couple of days. Definitely today, I'm wearing one. Forget about it. So what I'd like to put is 7 fragrances that I think are perfect for summer and Melbourneites. And I don't know what the rest of the country is doing in Australia, but this you can wear now. So enjoy. Here we go. Boom, bada boom. The first one that I want to talk about is XERJOFF, makes sense, and it's Neo. Now this is one that falls really low under the radar. People just, and I think it's because it's older brothers or it's siblings, Renaissance, Torino 21, the other one that was in there, Kobe. They're all very similar in that beautiful neroli, citrus, opening, petitgrain, bit of greenness in there, and they steal the limelight. They actually overshadow this guy here. I don't, so if you're sort of looking past Neo, come back to it. I strongly recommend it. It's a beautiful, let's finish the sentence. It's a beautiful neroli fragrance. The core of it is that it is a Mediterranean neroli that you're getting from this particular fragrance here. The difference is this, and let me go into why I also think it sort of falls under the radar. It does fall a little bit more on a masculine side. So Neo is not one that Sandra likes wearing. She loves neroli, but in her choice is the Paris Monte Carlo one, Neroli Mediterraneo. So that's the one that she loves because it has that neroli white floral sort of sweetness and the scent profile on that opening, that citrus. But when it dries down, it does go a slight tad juicy. Whereas on the other hand, Neo does go down more towards green, peppery vetiver. So you're getting, so I give as a fragrance for a man, fantastic. Ladies, if you want something that's less on that juicy white floral, a little bit more on the woody pepperiness, then Neo is gorgeous. What else did I write? Okay, so when it comes to its performance, the other, I guess, why it loses to Renaissance and Torino 21, things like that, is that it probably, from a performance point of view, you're getting about 5 to 6 hours. It's still pretty good. So as an office day fragrance, as a going out and you know, spending the morning or something of that nature, fantastic fragrance. So as a beautiful summer fragrance, something that will make you happy on first spray, and then it dries down into this, as I said, a bit more woody and peppery, just absolutely spectacular. I find that the sillage and projection on this is in the moderate, so it's good, but it won't, you know, like it won't push itself out too far. I strongly believe everybody needs a good neroli fragrance, and I would recommend to you Neo as a great starter there. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous in particular. I personally, because again, maybe it's a masculine thing, I do love that peppery vetiver dry down, that greenness that it has when it goes down. All right, let me keep moving. It's hot in this jumper. Boom. So let me, thank you guys. It's a good quality. It's a good quality jumper. Yeah. All right. So next one. The problem with citrus fragrances is that the citrus molecule is very small. All right. And so as a result, you either need to anchor it in a really robust way, and I've got one fragrance that I want to share with you deeper down the line. This next one here uses now those other, I guess, larger notes, those green notes, petitgrain and mint and things of that nature, to really create bones on this fragrance and longevity. I do believe, and I'll put it if I'm mistaken, but I do believe it does have things like patchouli, I think cedar wood. Anyway, I know that it has these bigger molecules and it really anchors it. You don't get any patchouli-ness out of it. You are getting it, it's mainly there for structure. Now, I sprayed this earlier. I didn't spray it on me because it is a monster. So if you want a good, strong, powerful citrus fragrance, SCORZAFORZA, the name says it all. So the scorza is the peel or the skin of the actual citrus. And forza means strength or power. This is gorgeous. This one here, I did a Boyce 1920 lineup, a discovery series. I talked about it, so here's if you want to do a discovery series alongside me, you can follow me here. I talk about how incredible this fragrance is. Now, if you want something that's going to last you, I don't know, 8, 10 hours without a problem, SCORZAFORZA is the one. If you want something that's going to be so it is bold, but it's not loud. So it's not like it's overpowering. It's a citrus fragrance, a citrus note, and it's so inviting. The key note in here, and you can tell from the color of it, is that beautiful mandarin. So it does have a range of different citruses, but its hero note is that mandarin tangerine note. That juiciness of it definitely exists here. It's then blended in, or the composition also includes the petitgrain, so that neroli petitgrain green, slightly woody, and then mixed in with this mint. I get this, and again, I'll put it here if there is a mint. For me, I get mint. I get this gorgeous mint note that pops out of this fragrance. Just divine. This is one Sandra does love wearing. So on a hot day, when it is just beautiful, stinking hot, this is one that both Sandra and I love wearing, and it's one that projects beautifully, sticks on skin just wonderfully. It's an evening fragrance too, so it's a great day fragrance, but also transitions beautifully into the evening. Neo. Don't underestimate Neo. Gorgeous fragrance. SCORZAFORZA, just happiness. Happiness. Summer happiness is what that fragrance is. I put here sunshine in capital letters, and that's what it is. And when you smell it, it's just gorgeous. All right, moving on. Actually, I'm going to do this in no time at all. I'm going to power through this. This great man here, Luca Gritti. Now Kevin always says that he is perfume royalty, and there is an element of that because his ancestors were actually connected to, have been connected to Venice, and one of his ancestors was actually the Doge, so the actual emperor of Venice years ago. Here's the date, here's the gentleman, looks very serious. So this is the heritage that Luca brings to his fragrances. There's further stories of how Luca's great great-grandfather or something of that nature, brought back, he was a bit of an explorer, brought back from the Silk Road some spices and started to concoct perfumery and yada yada. So this is where also is that legacy that exists within the Gritti family. Just so you know, the 9-day luxury tour will include Luca Gritti, and to get an, not so much to get an audience with Luca, but Luca's a very busy man. He's a super dynamic, he does many different things, and to actually spend a considerable amount of time with him, more than just shake his hand, is a big deal. We're going to be spending the day with Luca. The brand new flagship store has opened in Rome. We'll be there. We actually will be having lunch with Luca Gritti. So at the end of this video, I'll tell you more about that, but this is an exciting big deal for us. Now, a fragrance that I've had for quite a while, and it's an early fragrance that he released, 2018, I think it was, is called ADELE. When I first experienced this, I'm like, oh man, this is a gorgeous apricot peach note that comes through. All right. So yes, there is that element, but in fact, it's a celebration of osmanthus. Now, the osmanthus note has it's a chameleon. I've been able to speak to a few perfumers, Mel Frusciuni being one of them, and he did mention that he loves working with osmanthus because it can actually take 3 different pathways. One is apricot, fruitiness. The next one is a more green, sort of vegetal, and then the last one is very animalic. It has this animalic nature. Interestingly, Luca Mel Frusciuni. Interestingly, Mel Frusciuni, all these names, Mel Frusciuni loves working with the animalic side of osmanthus. And I smelled osmanthus. It's wild that the same core ingredient has these different expressions. Whereas here, Luca Gritti has used it more in that beautiful floral side. This is heavenly. I haven't put it on skin. For me, it is deep in that feminine side. So ladies who love beautiful white florals, a slight fruity touch to the fragrance, almost ethereal in the sense of the way it sort of weaves itself in the air and projects. ADELE is, if you haven't experienced this, if you haven't experienced this, I'd recommend you go out. Sometimes what happens is that as the houses release new and new fragrances, we seem to forget the old library. Hence why I brought up, just so you know, Neo is a hidden gem. It's been buried in amongst all those other fragrances that have come out, which are great, but you have to see this. And the same for this beauty here. So ADELE is one that I bought ages ago. I did buy it for my wife, Sandra. In the end, my daughter, I have a library system, she actually took this as her own. I had to go to her house last night and say, can I please have ADELE? And she's like, when's that coming back? So it gives you an idea of how, and actually in feeling the bottle, she's actually done a good job with it. So it's a fragrance that just radiates femininity and radiates this wonderful, just an incredible scent profile. For me, unfortunately for my poor wife, this has become Maddie's fragrance. When I smell this, and then I've sprayed before, it just conjures up Maddie. So it's one that she loves wearing and one that I associate to her now. What it does, it uses a beautiful osmanthus apricot style note on that opening. So it leans now more to that stone fruit, white floral piece. Then it gets accentuated by tuberose in the heart, and it is just gorgeous. So the one thing that it does when it does dry down, it does go a little bit more on that floral musky side of things, but never loses the apricot sort of sweetness. Or it doesn't have apricot, okay, but it has that osmanthus apricot touch in that from the opening. Gorgeous. I could not wear it. So it's one, I mean, I do love floral fragrances, I have no problems, and the next one I'm about to show you has a little bit of that sort of more sweeter touch to it. But here, and I think maybe because Maddie it's become her fragrance, I smell it, and for me, it's a beautiful feminine fragrance, and I strongly recommend it. When it comes to its longevity and projection, from what I'm detecting when we go out as a family, and Maddie's wearing it, probably getting about 6+ hours. I can smell it very cleanly in the air. The sillage of it is massive though. Wherever she goes, It's like those commercials where flowers are blooming as she goes past, you know, just this, it's that kind of fragrance. Just lights up the whole area. Boom. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. Little drink. This is the next one. So I spoke about a few weeks back on a fragrance called La Captiva. It's a foyer fragrance. The secret recipe of La Captiva is this beautiful balance between this cassis black currant note, then when it's then sort of blended in with a vanilla touch and a musky finish. I cannot wear that one. All right, so Sandra, my wife, to me and to my, I guess the way that I enjoy fragrances, it's a little bit more feminine leaning. The fruitiness of that black currant is very tender and very sort of, it leans a bit more feminine. As I said, Sandra did adopt that very early on, so when I smell it, I just think of her. Whereas if you like that scent profile, but now you want it to be a little bit more on that woody, musky side of things, then I recommend to you Ormond Jane's BYZANCE. This is one I bought quite a while back. The reason why I fell in love was because of that cassis note on that opening. It does have like a milky accord, so it is a very, it's not a fruity I was gonna say it's not over the top, so because then that gives you the impression that La Captiva is over the top. It's not at all, but it's very, La Captiva is very fruity and bubbly and bright, whereas here it's that cassis note, that black currant note is a lot more, it's a lot more subdued. There is a milky accord that actually is in that opening too, so it seems to be a lot more creamier. That's the word I'm looking for. A lot more creamier in the way that it presents itself. It does come back fairly quickly from that black currant note, and it does go into more of a vanilla touch. Even though vanilla is in the base, that vanilla does present itself quite well, along with these beautiful soft woods. Now, there's things like cashmere, I think there's a number of accords, and so it's not necessarily cedar or an actual extraction. There's a number of accords, and there's also a number of aroma chemicals, synthetic notes that are in there that create this beautiful structure, but it gives us this woody, creamy, musky touch to the fragrance. I have it on today. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to take this jumper off. It is boiling. So it still retains that. So if you like La Captiva, if you like that, if you've smelt it as a man and you think, oh, that's a nice sort of fragrance, I wouldn't mind that, but I feel like it's a little bit more feminine leaning, then BYZANCE would be the perfect fragrance for you. The balance between the fruit, black currant note, but now with a little bit more of that musky, woody touch to it, a little bit more on the vanilla, because I'm thinking musky, woody touch, but it's the vanilla. The vanilla that's in there is divine. This is a perfect evening summer fragrance. In smelling it, for me, this is a going out fragrance. It's interesting also in my family, the boys like this more. So La Captiva is there, it's available for them to spray, but BYZANCE is the one that they actually wear for themselves. Look, it's definitely a fragrance that a female can enjoy, a woman can enjoy this too, but it's a little bit more on that subtlety when it comes to the woody, musky side of things. Boom. I'm gonna stop. I'm dying, honestly. Good jumper, by the way. If you go to Harvard and you graduated like I did, then you want a jumper like this. But I'm gonna stop because I'm dying. It's really hot. Much better. Check it. Yes. If you go to Harvard like I did, you got to get yourself one of those jumpers if you're going into winter, which Melbourne is eventually, because right now, like I said, we're in the middle of summer. Gorgeous jumper to wear. But for now, this is going to be much better because it's very warm today. The last thing that I want to say about Ormond Jane BYZANCE is that obviously Ormond Jane is an English house, and I find that English perfumery works on subtlety. So, and I've said this a few times in some of my past episodes, you don't want all your perfumes to be room fillers, to go through walls and all the rest of it. You do want to have a nice balance, you know, just like music, you know, you want to have the ebb and flow of different, you know, sounds, because that's what creates personality and creates interest. If everything's at one pitch, then it just becomes, well, it just becomes over the top too much. So let's take Gritti, Adele. This is definitely a bold fragrance. This is something that if you were going to an outdoor area or somewhere where it's, you know, fairly large, a party or something of that nature, then Adele will be perfect. It will project itself. The sillage of this will be phenomenal. It definitely has presence. It doesn't fill a room like a Suspiro does, but it definitely does, you know, create its presence. Something like Ormonde Jane, and some people have made this sort of comment, oh, but it doesn't project as much. The way that I see it is that it's not meant to. It's actually the way it performs is how it was designed. And that is that, like English perfumery, it's about you now, and it's about you not imposing on too deeply or too heavily on others. As an intimate fragrance, as a fragrance for you and the person you're going out with, your lover, this is absolute magic. If you go into a restaurant, you don't want to have all of a sudden and I've had this, well, I haven't had it happen, but I've been a part of it where all of a sudden someone walks in, you're like, oh my gosh, I can smell, actually, true story. I was behind a curtain and I could smell this person's fragrance through the curtain. It was a beautiful perfume, nothing against the individual. However, that's a fragrance that, I don't know. You do you. The way that I like to do it is create a different balance. So Ormonde Jane's, the English perfumery are a lot more subtle, and BYZANCE is gorgeous as a fragrance that you can wear when someone comes up to you, come close. They can detect this beautiful, fruity, woody vanilla that is in the air, and it creates a bit of a mystery. It's like, whoa, who is that? Who smells so divine? So I recommend it as a going out fragrance. It's something that is a lot more intimate than it's beautiful. Boom. Okay, let me move on. So last week I mentioned to you guys that I was testing. I bought it. Boom, that's how I roll. This is 6 Hours to Rio. It is, forget about it, gorgeous. I've had it for 5 days, and I wrote it here because I don't want to make up stories. Firstly, I wrote here, really, 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 really good. I'll take a photo so I can show it to you. I actually wrote that. So this is really, 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 really good. It's a really good fragrance, and I strongly recommend it. The weather, as I said, we've had a resurgence of summer here in Melbourne. It's been perfect for it. I've been wearing it for like 2 or 3 days in a row, which is unusual for me, but it's that kind of fragrance that's just making me happy. Northern Hemisphere, I'd strongly recommend it. Go out and test it. It is going to be spectacular as a summer fragrance. Now, so I started to say compliment, so it's a compliment monster. I went out with a friend, we went out for lunch, and good old Aussie boy, and he says, mate, you smell really good. He knows obviously I'm doing fragrances. He's like, I really like your perfume today. So that was him. Then there was Kevin. He's an Aussie boy, but he's not as Aussie. And he goes, bro, you smell good. We were walking out of the restaurant. He was getting my sillage now. And he's like, bro, you smell really good. Which one's that? Going into a long story about FRAPIN. Sandra, the other day, or of an evening, she's like, I like the fragrance you're wearing today. Bada bing. Last night, I went over to see my grandbabies, put them to bed. And I said to my son, here, smell my fragrance. And he's like, I can smell you already. 10 hours. That was 10 hours, 10, 12 hours that I'd been wearing it. And he's like, I smelled you as soon as you walked into the room. So here is a fragrance that is just perfect. And I don't know whether it's my perfect perfume skin that's creating the beautiful scent energy of this fragrance. Sorry, I haven't said that joke for a while, so it's only fair that I brought it up. Or it could be the fact that fragrance is just phenomenal and a big recommendation. What I like about it is that it grabs those, so it has the aromatic green nature, but it doesn't get cliche on you. So it doesn't become just an aromatic fragrance, or it doesn't just become a very deep green fragrance like Neo. So when Neo dries down, it becomes a very green fragrance on the dry down. You know, that citrus piece that you felt at the beginning comes off, which is great for a man, good, vibrant, vetiver style fragrance. Whereas 6 Hours to Rio uses the green cardamom note, uses a ginger note. It does have a rose in the heart. And for me, it's a green rose. I had an opportunity to meet with the great Luca Maffei, another incredible perfumer. And he mentioned to me that he loves using rose in his fragrances because he can actually accentuate it in 3 different ways. One is that berry-like sort of juiciness of the rose. So it has like a berry-like quality to it. Then it has the classic floral rose part of it that I guess we're familiar with, that we seem to smell a lot of when it comes to cosmetics and things of that nature. But then the other side of it is a green crunchiness, and he said that. He said it has a green crunchy feel to it. I still remember when he said that to me, I thought, my imagination went wild, because I'm like, a green crunchy. And what I perceived him to say is that it's that not quite fully formed rose where it's, you know, luscious and fat petals. It's that early part of the rose where it still has that rose quality to it, but now there is a green element and there is a crispiness, a freshness to that rose profile. And that's what I get from this fragrance, from 6 Hours to Rio. You get, everything stays in this beautiful green aromatic, but it doesn't go into a masculine territory. So here's a fragrance that, yes, worked fantastic on me, but Sandra also loves wearing it. This is one that she was testing alongside me with that sample. She did spray this fragrance for herself. It does work well. It's only new, so it's only been 5 days, so I can't give you a lot of different examples, other than she is wearing this fragrance for herself. I found that for me, the sillage is fantastic and its projection is fantastic. I am getting a very confident moderate, so I dare say even high. So it pushes up into that sort of bigger realm. It does, it's very, people are aware of the fragrance. It's very present. And then as I said, when it comes to its longevity, 10+ hours without a problem at all. Big recommendation. Now, I wrote down, I jumped on Fragrantica, and people are saying that it has a tropical touch to it. I'm not getting that at all. So I don't know what people are experiencing there. They're putting, sometimes Fragrantica gets a little bit creative from what I've observed. But anyway, they're putting things like mango and guava. Zero. I'm not getting any of that. So for me, it stays on that aromatic green crispiness, that slight rose floral touch to it, but slight. So boys, don't be afraid of this fragrance. This will work. A treat. Gorgeous fragrance. Massive. I'm talking massive, massive recommendation. Big, yeah. And actually, the perfumer of the fragrance is Julien Rasquinet. I said that way too fast. Do it again. Julien Rasquinet. So Julien Rasquinet is the perfumer, and well, the guy's a champion. He's an incredible perfumer. I'm a little bit on the hypo side. What do you think? Boop, 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 boop. Another magical perfumer is none other than the wizard Ibrahim, who has the house PANA. I do love this brand. I have doubled down with these guys. I'm close to completing the collection as my eye twitches. They're just really, really good fragrances. There's some big things planned. I plan to share a lot more about all things PANA. This one's perfect for summer. So Northern Hemisphere, this is not gonna work. I mean, today, glorious, I am wearing it. Glorious weather for this fragrance here. This is AQUA de DORA. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably one of the best sellers for the actual brand. I know that Oligarch, when Kevin was at Oligarch, he did mention that this was always selling out really fast. Now, in looking at the actual fragrance, it looks very simple, meaning that it has a very bright citrus, grapefruit in particular, with an ambroxan on the opening. Then as it begins to dry down, I think it had, from memory, it has a fig note, and it has chestnut. I have no idea how that works. What does chestnut actually smell like? I don't know. And then finally in the base, there's sandalwood and some more woodier notes. Okay. This fragrance is, and again, I call Ibrahim the wizard because what you see isn't necessarily what I experience. I go nose blind on this in a second, and I only, sorry about that, I got something in my throat. So to look at the fragrance, you think it looks pretty straightforward. In actual fact, okay, so for starters, I go nose blind. I spray this baby on, and maybe an hour into it, I feel like I don't get the fragrance anymore. I sprayed it here. So I can smell the woodiness of it. So I get the sandalwood, possibly I get the chestnut, or there's a woody element in there with a touch of fruit. Okay. 12 hours deep. We had gone out as a family. I was wearing this over summer. We had gone out as a family. I was probably about a meter ahead. I was with the kids and stuff. And from behind, my son calls out, "Who is wearing the most divine grapefruit fragrance?" He's like, and he starts to get all, "I can smell grapefruit, and but it's sweet and it's kind of juicy to it." And it's like, anyway, I'm like, I think that's me. Aqua de Dora, I know has that top grapefruit note, but I'm like, that grapefruit note should have now been gone. I should be now in a different place. Anyway, he smelled a few of us, because we're all perfume lovers. He comes to me and he's like, "Whoa, that is incredible. Your fragrance I can smell." Now, in that moment, I started to smell, I'm like, I'm not getting what he was explaining. There's grapefruit, there's vibrance. He did compare it to vibrato. He's like, it smells like vibrato. But for me, vibrato does have some green notes in there. I'm detecting more of a green note. Whereas here, if I put up my nose up close, I am getting more of a woody side of things. So I'm saying that this fragrance here is, I don't know, it's pure voodoo. It's absolute witchcraft. I do believe that. So when I first saw the notes of lemon, grapefruit, and broxen on that opening, and broxen is normally used as a base note, and normally also it's like ambergris. It locks in, and I think maybe, I'm not a perfumer, I'm making this up, all right? So if anybody can validate this, please do. But the way I'm seeing it is that this ambroxan is locking down that citrus volatile oil that normally happens at the beginning and then goes away. It's locking down that grapefruit, lemon, sort of punchy, zesty happiness to it, and then creating that longevity. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, I do go nose blind on that lemony citrus part of it, but in the air, the sillage of it is definitely present. So as a great summer fragrance that will last forever, has incredible sillage, but it's not overpowering, it's not like over the top, Aqua de Dora. I recommend it to you, and by the wizard, Monsieur Ibrahim, who's incredible. And I will go into more of the Panadoras. They're incredible. Honestly, the other ones I can smell, they're a lot more getting the boozy notes, the woody, almost like this wood has been soaked in some kind of rum or cognac. They're luxurious. They're actually really, really impressive fragrances. Boom. Okay, last one. So quite a while back, I talked about this glorious fragrance here, which is NISHANE's HACIVAT. Absolutely love it. It's one that I've had for quite a while. I did a review. I expanded on how much I love this fragrance. It is an expression of Istanbul. I mean, it's meant to be a celebration of that region. I do have it here. I'm deeper in the dry down, so it opens up with this wonderful pineapple note. It has a vibrance to it. It is a little bit Ventus-like, but it does move away fairly quickly away from that profile. It does go more into this oak moss and patchouli, and it has this sort of musty dry down, a little bit of woodiness. It does have like a pine forest sharpness to it. It's a beautiful fragrance, and one that I've always loved. However, I've built it up nicely. And I'm gonna block its ears, so let me just block HACIVAT's ears. This one's better. Now, if you own HACIVAT, I'm always reluctant to get what is to me perceived as a flanker, because I'm like, you know, I'm essentially buying the same thing. This is, for starters, if I closed my eyes and sprayed a fragrance and wore a fragrance, and you're like, whoa, this is beautiful. What is this? You know. So this is a gorgeous expression, or a gorgeous take on what to me is already a classic. It's a whole new expression. So HACIVAT X by Julien Rasquinet is absolutely incredible. And as I mentioned, I did save the best to last. I am wearing it today. I've been wearing it also quite regularly. And the way it opens, the way it migrates, the way it dries down, the whole thing is truly incredible, really, really impressive. I wanted to give you, so I wanted to give you the difference. So here's HACIVAT. I wanted to give you the difference of this. So interestingly, Sandra does not like HACIVAT. And I think even in that video, I did mention that she doesn't like that patchouli, oak moss dry down, that mustiness that it has. Whereas she loves this fragrance. This is one that I've been wearing. This is one that I get compliments whenever I am wearing it with Sandra, alongside Sandra. One thing that I do find is that so it does have a pineapple fruit note, but I find that pineapple fruit note doesn't present itself on that opening. It actually comes back, or it comes in on that dry down. I'm getting more of that pineapple juiciness more in the dry down. What I get in the beginning is more of that pink pepper. I wrote down the citrus and that slight fruit. It is quite invigorating. It's a very lively fragrance as soon as like I said, for me, when I first experienced it, I came at it very skeptical. I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. Put it on skin and already I'm like, holy cow, this is really, really good. This is a lot better than what I anticipated. For me, this is, let me just make sure, this is Summer Glory. So not one that so HACIVAT is one that I would wear over winter. I don't believe, so I haven't gone into my winter with this just yet. It's not one that I would be wearing over winter. I don't believe. This is more of this glorious day that we're having today, nice summery fragrance. It does have a very woody dry down, but it does retain the fruit aromatic components of it. Give me 1 second, because I want to make you a comparison to 6 hours to Rio. So as I said, for me, the HACIVAT X, the fruit note, that pineapple seems to re-emerge or seems to come forward in the dry down. I don't get it. I actually thought there was no pineapple on that opening. So I'm getting that now deeper in. Whereas if I compare it to something like 6 hours to Rio, the greenness, the cardamom, that crunchiness that I was mentioning before is definitely a lot more present here than it is for something like a HACIVAT X. Did I explain that right? I hope so. Boom. That's pretty much me done. I've just looked at the time. We've done a very long video. 2 great fragrances. So this one here is more of a winter, a lot woodier, a lot more on the musty side. This one here, glorious summer, vibrant, happy. That juiciness on that dry down. And then when it comes to its presence and longevity, it is a monster. It does have great push on it. So from a very confident moderate, and I find that 10+ hours without a problem, I'm smelling it to the point. This morning I was spraying a few, I showered, I had it on me. I came out of the shower, I could still smell HACIVAT X. So I reapplied again. But so it's a nice, potent fragrance, has great bones. We're done. All right. I look forward to your feedback on this. And as I said, thank goodness I didn't do 10. My goodness gracious, it would have been here forever. I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on some of these fragrances. I did try to include some for the ladies. As I said, a lot of these can be, I mean, HACIVAT X I feel is a little bit more masculine. AQUA de DORA, I do believe it would be easy, a female fragrance, so something that ladies can also wear. And all the others, 100%. Boys, I don't think you can wear ADELE, but that's just me saying it. I think it's well, again, because of my daughter, it's very feminine leaning in my brain. Now, what I've got, okay, so firstly, thank you for those who have come along to watch the review and to hear a little bit more about fragrances. I appreciate your company. If you did enjoy this, I'd love you to subscribe. I'd love you to support the channel. It's a great support to us by you subscribing. I am gonna move on to community things. So if you don't want to participate in that, no problems at all. I appreciate your company for coming this far. I'll see you guys on the next Maté Talk. But if you are staying on, let's begin. So this is the SORA DORA discovery set. Now, for those who are familiar with the channel, you know that I like doing a discovery series in which I go alongside you, essentially, and we break down these fragrances in a much more relaxed sort of style. Myself and team work very hard to create a production that has a lot of sort of visual elements so that you can understand what the fragrance is, even if you're not following me. If you are following me, it makes it a lot more fun because I now get you to experience the fragrance and smell different notes depending on the fragrance. This is the 11 discovery set. 7 of these are for the black collection, and then the other 3 or 4 for the new white collection. It does include 7 in that, which is a brand new release. Is gorgeous. Wait till you see that. Now, if you'd like to participate, that discovery series is coming out next Sunday, the 24th. That'll be episode 1, and then episode 2 will come out on the 4th of May. If you want to participate, you can use the code NFC10, and that'll give you 10% discount, plus you'll get free delivery anywhere in the world. It's a great way to, I guess, experience fragrance in the comfort of your own home. That's the essence of it. So rather than go into a store or something like that, or maybe you might not have SORA DORA as a product that's close to you or a brand that's close to you, then you can join me on that discovery series. If you like that concept, these are all the other discovery series that I've created. I don't control the delivery, so I always talk to brands and ask them, can you do something with delivery? In some cases they can, in some cases they can't. Une Nuit Nomade is another brand that is also doing free delivery anywhere in the world. I'll put all the links below so you can use the different codes to access that and participate and join me. Boom, that's that. Okay. Let me show you this. Tic-tac-took. What am I showing you? I was going to show you something. Here, I'm going to show you this. So the 9-day luxury tour is coming up in September. We've got 2 spots left, and I've had a few questions being raised in regards to the hotels that we'll be staying at. So let me just answer some of those questions in case there's other people. An old boss of mine once said, 1 person asks the question, 20 people are thinking it. So if you're thinking, I wonder where they're staying or what's their hotels, let me answer these questions very quickly for you. Firstly, your room is your room, so don't think that you're going to be sharing a room with a complete stranger. So the intention is, whatever the hotels that we're staying at, that room will be yours. We have booked a higher level category, so we haven't booked the entry level room. The intention is that we want you guys to have comfortable space. So, you know, as we move around, that you have got your own space so you can spread yourself out in your own room and be comfortable. The other thing that we did is the hotels that we selected are about creating the right rhythm to the actual tour. So even if you're not joining us on this luxury tour, myself and Sandra have done all the heavy lifting here. So if you ever happen to go to these particular cities, Milan, Florence, and Rome, I recommend to you these hotels because we actually went to a number of hotels in each of those cities to find the right one for our tour. But let me put them on your radar because they're incredible properties. The first one is in Milan, Magna Paz. Now, this one was almost a no-brainer in the decision making because it's the first perfume hotel in the world. And what does that mean? You walk into a beautiful hotel, there's perfume everywhere. You can smell perfume in the air. The difference here is that they have their own lab, which is L'Absolu. So they've got their own boutique in the actual hotel. The L'Absolu fragrances form the basis of the actual hotel. So they've got 68 rooms. They have 68 fragrances, so every fragrance is assigned to a particular room, and you do an olfactory check-in. So you'll smell the different fragrances, and then that's the room that you select. So that's something that we're doing from our end. The difference, normally what you do is when you check in, you smell, and then you'll select your room. In our case, we've actually booked our rooms already. We'll send you the samples, you smell those samples, and then select the room that you want. This used to be an old perfume factory, and it belongs to the Martone family and has been in their family for generations. They outgrew this particular space. They're now in a different location, but rather than knock it down and create a car park, they reconverted it, they rethought it, and actually turned it into this hotel. So everywhere you go within the hotel is perfumed in a different way. So it's not one blanket smell that you have as you would normally in a traditional hotel. Here, every turn, every corner you take, you'll find that it's now scented in a different way to reflect the area. A really impressive concept. And we will be doing a lot of work with L'Absolu on this actual tour. So that's in Milan. I recommend this hotel, period. It's one of the new properties that have come up in Milan, and just a gorgeous property. In Florence, we wanted to, so that's the next city that we're going to. Oh, this is about to pop. I'm gonna stop, I'll come back. Boom. So in Florence, as I mentioned, we wanted to change the rhythm of this. So we went from this very, in Milan, very modern, postmodern, you know, structure, steel, repurposed, and big glass windows, all that sort of stuff, to something that was a lot more classic and traditional. The hotel that we're staying at, Hotel Baglioni, used to be a private residence. It was a palazzo that belonged to this family here, I forgot the name, and that was built in 1860. So this whole building was once one single residence that belonged to a particular family that now, then early in the 1900s, was converted into a hotel. Everything about this place is this beautiful dark wood. It has this serenity to it. It actually does, you feel like you are being, you're cocooned in this warmth. We wanted something, so as Sandra and I, we sort of went to a number of different hotels in Florence. We wanted to have something that reflected the city. So some of the other hotels we walked into were very modern, and actually it was interesting trying to find the right balance, because we wanted something that had all the amenities that we needed. So the room had to be perfect, and I guess the personal happiness in being in that hotel had to be high. Then the location was the next thing, and then it's about, as I said, the personality of the place, the actual aura of the place. Both of us, Sandra and I, fell in love with this hotel here. So this is a gorgeous hotel that you feel like you have stepped back in time, and you are now immersed in this, you're just immersed in this wonderful hotel that reflects the city. And sometimes I'm a little bit, I'm not the type of person that will go to a place, so let's say you go to Fiji. I've got friends who do this. They go to Fiji, and then they'll go to this gated area that looks like, it's a beautiful hotel, but it just looks like you could be anywhere in the world. You know, you want to be in a place that actually embraces the culture, and you can feel like you're part of the landscape, as opposed to being in, I don't know, this sort of curated and, you know, manicured location. You want to have some taste of the place that you're in, and Hotel Baglioni does exactly that. You feel like you are in Florence. The beautiful, the rooms, everything about it, super spacious. They actually retained the old stained glass windows that used to be there. Behind it is double glazed, so you don't hear the street. We did test that, because I'm like, I want to make sure that everyone has a good night's sleep. Gorgeous hotel, big recommendation. Oh, yes, big recommendation if you're traveling, and a massive recommendation if you're staying with us. Now, the last place that we wanted to book for our guests, this is now the final destination, which is Rome. And this was a big deal to both Sandra and I. So Rome is our adopted city. We both are very passionate about the love that we have for Rome as a city. There's something about Rome that, I don't know, it calls us every year. We really enjoy, we're very familiar with Rome. We know all the back streets and places to eat and everything else. So for us, Rome was a big deal. You know, what was the hotel that was going to be our final destination in Rome? Now, we went to 6 hotels, hand on my heart, 6 hotels, trying to find the right balance, you know, which was the right property. In the end, we settled on a property called Hotel Raphael. Again, if you're traveling to Rome, I'd recommend this hotel to you. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's actually pushed back away from the main area. One thing that was important for us in Rome is that we did want to be in Rome. And, you know, we wanted to be as close to the heartbeat of the city, you know, where the Pantheon is and Piazza Navona and things like that, as much as possible. And this hotel is set back away from that, so it's quiet. But at the same time, I mean, look at this video. You walk out, and then like 30 seconds later, you walk into Piazza Navona and all the beautiful statues and the fountains and everything else that's there. Really, really, really impressive hotel. The rooms that we've booked in, again, as I said, we've moved everybody up a number of categories, so it's not the entry-level room, and that way you have a lot of space within your property. Boom. I'm hoping that answers the questions. The places we're staying at have been handpicked. That's the key message that I wanted to share. We haven't just, sometimes you look at a website and you go, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, this is what it is. But we've actually walked into each one of these. So Sandra and I did walk into each one of these and actually selected the one that we would stay at. Actually, we are staying at that because we're staying with the guests. 2 seats left. The tour is happening in September. It is a 9-day luxury, meaning that we will be eating very well. The food that we ate at all the different places in selecting the right restaurants for you guys. And then it's about the actual experience. And this is the part, because it is a fragrance tour, we will be meeting with the beautiful people from GRITTI, and obviously Luca Gritti will be there. We are meeting the wonderful people from Boyce 1920. When we're in Florence, we're meeting with the Gallardi family. We're doing a really cool event with those guys too. So, and then there's also all these other beautiful brands that are all participating, and we're doing some very exciting projects with them. So if you want to join us, reach out to me. Ask me any questions. I'm more than happy to answer those and assist you in any way possible. Boom. Finito la musica. Boom, and back and excited. I mean, look at this wheel. Look at the amount of people that have joined this competition, which is fantastic. And it's more than worth it, meaning that I'm glad that a lot of people participated. This is the 30 ml 10th anniversary LAMAR Noir from Kajal. I'll send this anywhere around the world. Good luck. You may have noticed that people's wedges are a little bit bigger. That's because they are members of the channel. This is my last thing that I'm gonna say before I spin. If you wanna become a member, it's $4 a month, and that gives you access to Discord. There's a great conversation happening in the NFC Discord. If you love perfume and if you wanna ask more questions, I get a lot of questions to me personally. I try my best to answer it. Sometimes I don't do a good job. Whereas if you were to ask questions in there, you're gonna get a lot of 5-star generals. There's only one supreme leader. Well, there's probably more than one, but anyway. All right. Oh, hang on a second. Gotta hear the audio. I love the audio. Where's my audio? Boom. Good luck, everyone. This is exciting. I went for the big spin. Create more suspense. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Good luck. Do it. Do it. Do it. Oh, there it is. Daniel, congratulations. And I do believe Daniel, by the look of that wedge, is a member of the channel. Bada bing, baby. So well done to you, my man. There it is. So that's the promo. That was my birthday celebration. 4 years of NFC, which is pretty exciting. A lot of things have happened over that 4 years' time. Any questions for me, please ask me. I'll do my best to answer them. If you are familiar with these particular fragrances, I'd love to hear your thoughts on them, or other summer fragrances that you're enjoying, especially in Northern Hemisphere. Actually, even Melbourne, forget about it. Melbourne has been crazy warm. So yeah, I look forward to reading that. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you guys all on the next episode. Goodbye. 7 hours later. Are you in love with niche perfumery?
What if you could meet the visionaries behind these niche fragrances?
What if you could slow this right down and enjoy a full day experience with them, including lunch and being able to go behind the scenes?
KARIM JAYNE Fragrance Tours is the world's first touring company where we specialize putting on unique perfume experiences.
This is about slowing things down and enjoying time with the perfume creators, with the perfumers, and those favorite brands that you love. Past 2 years, we've been enjoying France. This year, it's all about Italy.
This is going to be a 9-day luxury tour where we're going to take you to Milan, Florence, and Rome.
It's about experiencing the tastemakers in each of those cities and enjoying time with those creators.
All of the brands coming on board, they're wanting to put on a show for you guys.
We are going to Matteo Fascioni's new temple. This is in Sarzana. He's moved from Salso Maggiore, coming to Sarzana, and it's a whole new expression. We will be the first in the world to experience this. We have purposely created these as bespoke, small group tours.
Now, only the last 4 seats being available.
A common question is, where am I going to stay? I'm happy to advise that we have hand-selected each of the hotels in the 3 cities.
These are amazing luxury properties. Take a look at the first property we'll be staying at in Milan. Magna Paz, this is the first perfume hotel in the world.
Everywhere that you go within Magna Paz is actually perfumed in a different way. Every room has its own signature scent, and you'll have a chance to do an olfactory check-in.
Now what does this mean? We're gonna send you the set of L'Absolu fragrances. Every fragrance actually belongs to a room in the hotel.
You have the chance now in the luxury of your own home to select the fragrance note that resonates best with you, and we'll lock in that room just for you.
Now dining, where will we be eating at throughout the tour? We have picked Michelin recommended restaurants for us to relax, experience the authentic local flavor of Italy.
I'm happy to say that I've tested these restaurants. When I was recently in Italy, we actually went to these places to make sure that they're going to be good enough for you.
Now you don't need to be an expert to join us on these tours.
Not at all. It's about loving perfume, and it's about discovering more behind the scenes than just the bottle itself. It's about the creator, it's about these experiences, it's about learning more alongside these beautiful perfumers.
The last few years we've had guests that have just started their niche fragrance journey join us, and even some couples that actually brought their partner along who didn't really know anything about perfumes at all, but loved their experience on the tour.
It's about the pleasure of being in this unique location alongside someone who is the master in their
Visionary
field.
and artist
Right.
in their craft.
And it's about the joy and the pleasure of travel.
Now this isn't just a tour. It's a journey through scent, through the history of Italy, with people who share your passion for fragrances.
4 spots left. We'd like to invite you to join us on this upcoming tour. If you want to know more, please email us or jump on our website for further details.